All right, everybody, welcome to another wrestling podcast. 2020 seems to be an incredible year already for us. We've had some big names on, none bigger than who I'm about to introduce. He is, the master of the mullet, the Maharaja of the mullet, man mullet rock, maybe even. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Brian Pillman Jr.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen?
It's awesome to have
Welcome
you on.
to the Mullet Club.
The Mullet Club, yes. Welcome, and I've been saying this a lot lately, but Happy New Year. How's it going?
Good. Just great. Getting started with some workouts. I had a great session of training last week, and I was off this weekend. No matches, no wrestling. So I took a little breather. Body's feeling good, and now this week I'm getting prepared really extra hard for MLW this weekend.
All right. Now, that's something that I didn't have planned to talk about, but I think it's really important. Nowadays, with you being kind of an independent wrestler still, not signed to a huge company where they're touring all the time and all that stuff, do you feel that you have an advantage over people because you have the ability to kind of let your body rest?
I do think that. I think a lot of guys overwork themselves in this sport, and I think I'm blessed that I have that opportunity to have some great matches and make a good living, and still every now and then take some time off. Some guys can't afford to take time off, and unfortunately, that's the nature of the beast, right? You always got to improve and get better. I haven't had a weekend off in about a year, so it was really nice to have that time off, and to really rejuvenate my body. I was feeling very, very tore up, very sore after my battle with Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Timothy Thatcher and TJP all in one night. So, you know how it goes. You gotta do what you gotta do. Your body's an investment. Sure, I could have made a bunch of money this weekend, but I needed that time off.
Yeah, I mean, work smart. That's really that's important, and obviously pretty cool that right now that this is you're able to do that. So you mentioned MLW, Major League Wrestling. You've been a part of that from basically sort of the beginning of your career. What's MLW meant to you, and how excited are you to still be there today?
It means a lot to me. When I first signed with them, I wasn't sure if it was going to be the right decision, but I knew I needed to make some sort of early decision to sort of build my stock and keep the momentum going. I tell people this all the time. I've never reached out or begged for an opportunity. I've always kind of just taken what's come my way and tried to let my work speak for itself. And I think the level of work I'm bringing has only gotten better over the past 2 years. I've been wrestling 2 years now. I'm starting to have some pretty high-level matches with some really high-level guys. And so not only that, I think I bring a lot to a show. I think I bring a lot of mystique, a lot of star power on any given card. So I'm starting to really believe in myself and the value that I bring. And I think 2020 is the year where I start earning those title shots.
Absolutely. Now, I will say I've listened to you a lot on interviews. I've got to see you wrestle live a couple times for Northeast Wrestling. It's surprising to me, even though that you are a second-generation wrestler, taking that away, just how well-spoken you are and charismatic. Do you feel like that's kind of your edge as far as what sets you apart from other wrestlers, or what do you think that may be?
Yeah, so, it's one of those things where some people are born to do this. Some people are naturally performers in this business and artists too. Everybody's got their different strengths and weaknesses. And I see some guys on the scene with a lot more talent than me in certain areas. And in other areas, they're lacking where I might be, thriving. So the wrestling scene today is a variety show. Crop full of different types of styles and moves, and I think every show should have a variety of work on it, unless it's like a high level pay-per-view or something where we're trying to get some angles over. But honestly, I love being a part of variety. I love learning lucha, all different styles, and I'm looking to bring my natural charisma to any company that wants to work with me. and then whatever style of wrestling that they do, I can always pick that up and learn that as well. But I think myself as a unique individual, there's only one Brian Pillman Jr.
Absolutely, and we are looking forward to seeing the Brian Pillman Jr. coming up soon for Northeast Wrestling. You're going to be wrestling at the Over the Top event in Waterbury, Connecticut. You mentioned some title shots coming your way, maybe. What do you think if you were to have a good showing here at Waterbury? Do you think that the chances would be good that we would see you potentially getting a title shot in Northeast Wrestling in 2020?
So that's definitely what I'm looking forward to. Northeast Wrestling has been a place that I talked about on the podcast earlier where I've had a lot of success. And success has been, when it comes to winning matches, I don't always win everywhere I go. A lot of companies have made me really earn and fight for that spot to call myself a victor. But ever since my debut at Northeast Wrestling, I've been a winner, and I'm going to keep winning. And I want to take that momentum and let the fans kind of fuel me into that title spot position. Do I think I'm going to win a title on my first shot? Probably not. It might take a few tries, it might take a few months, but I do think that before 2020 is over, I'll be holding Northeast Wrestling gold, and it starts on January 25th with the Over the Top Royal Rumble and a singles match against Flip Gordon. So I got a lot on my plate going into January.
It's incredible. Like I said, it's been incredible to watch. Your name was kind of out there before you made your way to the Northeast. A lot of people were talking about Brian Pillman Jr., and obviously there's some things that happen when you're a second-generation star. There's also some things that happen whenever, the circumstances that were your life got out there. But we were hearing about you on the East Coast before really we got to see you. Obviously, if you're in the area, stop by Northeast Wrestling, go to Waterbury. You won't be disappointed whenever you see Brian Pillman Jr., but one of the things that I'm wanting to know is what it felt like, to be Brian Pillman Jr. stepping into that ring and knowing that people would already have expectations of you and your work before you even, locked up for the first time. Was that was that a daunting task? Did you even take that into consideration, or you just said, I'm going to do my thing and then let it kind of work itself out?
The expectations were there from day one, and for many, many weekends I traveled around the world to go out and fail and fail and fail. And eventually, after you fail so many times, you start to get good at this shit. You start to win some matches. You start to get more technical in the ring. You learn a few holds that other guys aren't using, and you start to, really hone in on your core offense and what gets the crowd rolling. And it took me about a year to get rolling. And once I got rolling, man, the Rolling Stone don't know no bounds. I've been rolling hard, and I'm going to keep going into this year. I've got so much momentum and steam behind me. Sometimes I don't even believe it. I don't even feel like it's real because so much has happened in my favor. And I think that's just because I had a really hard life growing up. I had a hard time, struggled, and went through a lot of adversity without my father and with the absence of my mother and stuff. So I dealt with all that in the past so that I could have now a future, and a future in this business. So,
well, you mentioned your father, and obviously nowadays there's so much wrestling out there, and even with the advent of the WWE Network, you're able to kind of go back and watch so much of your father's work, your father's legacy. We unfortunately, you were fairly young whenever your father passed away. Do you get time to kind of look back and enjoy that and actually now see it for what it was and how special of a performer that your father was?
Oh yeah, I've always kind of looked back and kept an eye on his past work just to kind of see what people are expected and stuff of me. But at the end of the day, I don't really study his stuff because I don't want to be a carbon copy. I don't want to be imitating him. And there's some things I can't help and some little nuances that are genetic. But at the end of the day, I'm not trying to overly read into his work.
Absolutely. Now, congratulations are in order for you as well. Just about a week or so ago, you pretty much celebrated your anniversary for wrestling in the you debuted in 2017, and
Yeah, good.
so what's the best thing that's come from this? We know that you had a job prior to wrestling that you maybe weren't so much excited about, and then you get into the wrestling business, and like you said, it's a house of fire. You've been everywhere. You've been doing a lot of stuff. You've been working with some of the biggest names in the company, in the entire world, actually, and you were in AEW. You've done a little bit of this, a little bit of that. What do you think is really the biggest thing that you've gotten to do in your short time in the business so far?
What am I most proud of getting to do? Is that what you said?
Yes, yes.
Or excited about getting to do? Really, just being able to work with two of these big companies that have helped me out, MLW and NEW. These two companies have taken great care of me. All the companies on the West Coast that flew me across the country and brought me over there. Getting to go to Mexico was an insane experience, and one I would treasure and love to do every weekend. The Canadian companies that have brought me in and utilized my passport and my potential in that country as well. So really just getting all these opportunities, traveling, everybody helping out with travel, getting me there from the guy that picks me up to the airport to the guy that's doing my music at the entrance. You know what I mean? Everybody plays a part in my career, and I'm so blessed to have so many people giving back to me and as I give myself and my life to wrestling.
Now, you have a unique style, to say the least. Obviously, you're rocking the mullet and pulling it off quite well, I might add. But you also rock a fanny pack, which is a bygone thing of earlier times in the wrestling business. But with traveling so much and having that fanny pack, what are some of the essentials that you have to keep in that fanny pack when you're on the road?
Yeah, so with the fanny pack, you got to keep a lot of stuff in there. Chapstick, your toothbrush. If you got a travel-size toothbrush, travel-size toothpaste. You never know when you're going to need to freshen up the whites. Also, I'll open it up right now. Why don't we take a look? Headphones for when you're at the gym. All my credit cards. A lighter in case you need to light something on fire. I don't know why I would need a lighter. I don't smoke anything. Wink, wink. But yeah, I got some Neosporin in here, and yeah, I just changed. I put my wrestling pins on there. I've got an American flag, a Fest Wrestling, and a Warrior Wrestling pin. That's another company that has blessed me with some crazy, insane matches. I got to share the ring with New Japan's very own Lance Hoyt, if you will. So yeah, just the fact that I'm a commodity, people are treating me as a commodity. They're respecting my wishes and giving me some great experiences in the ring. This week I'm going to be helping out with the local school and teaching some guys some different things that I learned. So,
well, we obviously are super excited that you're coming back our way. We know you're busy. We got a couple more questions to wrap it up, but one of the things that is kind of out there is that you may or may not do some freestyling action, and obviously we're not going to make you do that on on live, put you on the spot, but musical influences. People get influenced in the wrestling business by anything. We've heard people watch something on TV or watch a movie or whatever, but how important is music to you in your life, and maybe who are some of your favorite artists out there today?
Oh man, I'll tell you what, I draw influences from so many different artists and musicians when it comes to music, television, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I have a large variety of music that I listen to. I really like Avicii is a good one. When it comes to rap, I really enjoy the Machine Gun Kelly, Eminem, 50 Cent, all that stuff. I really like to go hard. I like Kanye West. I also like alternative rock, It's all kinds of stuff. I listen to you name it, from Metallica to the alternatives, the freaking Bowling for Soup, the punk rock, all that 90s shit growing up,
Yes.
the
Awesome.
'90s rappers. I grew up in the '90s, so I was
Okay.
born in '93, and I'm sure when I was young, my parents were blasting all that shit in my earwaves while I was growing up.
Well, we I think it's just understated. A lot of people don't always get to kind of find out what makes someone tick, and it's nice to hear, the
Oh yeah, it's great. I love to hear what wrestlers, what influences them and inspires them. I know that I overheard Bray Wyatt, talking about the movie It and how it kind of influenced his character work going into the Fiends and stuff. So everybody draws a little bit out of movies and everything, and music and comics and this, that, or the other. Whether it's the tattoos that they wear on their body, or the way that they sell, or the way that they fight and stuff. Everybody's got a little inspiration somewhere, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we also just saw this past weekend that one of the greatest, if not the greatest, depending on who you talk to, wrestlers finally hung up the boots, and it was Jushin Thunder Liger, and someone that your father had wrestled in the past, and you got a chance to also be in a match with him. How important was that to you? And did you get to reach out to Liger after his retirement?
Looking back, I wish I had not been so nervous to share the ring with him. But being that he was old in his age and he had a very big retirement coming up, I wanted to really take care of him and take it easy on him in the ring. But I don't like to live with any regrets, and I think we had a great match. It was a 6-man tag. I never got to have that singles, but like I said, being in his old age, I don't think he was interested in any singles matches, going into his retirement matches. But I'll tell you what, it was an honor. It was a true pleasure to kind of feel that chemistry, that instant chemistry that I felt with him in the ring. It was like I was wrestling with my father. It was really cool. My Japanese alter ego father, right? But at the same time, I think that in their culture, they look at that as a very honorable thing. That I wrestle, as a second generation wrestler. The Japanese really, they really respect and appreciate that. And I can't quite decipher his language, but in one of his tweets, he said something along the lines of, the son of his greatest rival. He also looks at me as like a son too. So it was really, it was a beautiful moment to witness his final moments of his career, and all the brothers that he had surrounding him were all guys that I shared a locker room with a couple weeks prior at Warrior Wrestling. So I wrestled Lance Archer for his last match before Wrestle Kingdom, last match of the year.
Yeah.
And then he went into Wrestle Kingdom against Jon Moxley. So it was really cool to kind of be in a few. I've been in a few, about 3 or 4 New Japan locker rooms. When they come to the U.S., they do indie shows, and they kind of take over our locker rooms, and I get to be a part of it. So I was on a couple shows with Liger, and one of them I wrestled him.
Well, it's such an honor to talk to you today. I know that I'm going to be able to look back at this interview later on, maybe it's a year or a year and a half or whatever, and say, can you believe that we had this guy on, and then he blew up and made a huge impact in professional wrestling. One of the things I want to try to do this year, because there's a lot of negativity in the world, whether it be just in professional wrestling or the world in general, what I would like to do right now is kind of to end this interview. You're going to be the first one, so we'll see how this works. But I just want you to kind of put out there, you can say one nice thing about, a wrestler, a peer, someone someone you don't know, whatever. But just, say something about somebody, something nice, and then I'm going to try to pass that on to the next person and the next person and the next person. So try to put something good out in the world.
Well, the nicest thing I can do or say is that MJF sucks.
That is incredible.
And he knows it. And he knows what I mean when I say that.
Well,
I hope that brings happiness to everyone to call out MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. You are a piece of human garbage. And that brings a smile to my face, and I think it does for many others.
I believe so. And we're going to put this out there. We're going to see what happens. And we want to thank you so much. Definitely come to Northeast Wrestling, Waterbury. Tickets are on sale now. Mr. Pillman, I know you have a lot of social media out there. Can you let us know where people can find you?
You can follow me on Twitter at Flying Brian Jr. and Instagram at Flying Brian41. Northeast Wrestling, January 25th. I take on Flip Gordon in what is personally one of my dream matches. I'm sure the fans are looking forward to it as well.
All right. Thank
and
you.
the over-the-top Battle Royal, whoever wins that Battle Royal has a chance at Darby Allin for the title.
Well, we can't wait to see you there. We're definitely come up and say hello, and thank you again for taking the time out today and speaking with us.
I appreciate it.